Yeah, so this is the Paul Gilson YouTube channel, and today is 9/11/2025. It's Thursday, and I wanted to talk about my recollection and my experiences here in New York State, where the Twin Towers were hit. Um, I'm going to be smoking a cigar because I don't feel like constant relights and messing around. So we've got a Bandito here, or not Bandito. These are General Grants. They're 42 gauge, 5 inches long. So on 9/11, 2001, I was a young 36-year-old man. It was a Tuesday. We had just finished the Monday, which was a busy day. And it was quite a normal day. It was quite extraordinary, actually. It was exactly like today is. It was in the mid 70s, late summer, a beautiful blue sky, just like we have here right now. Not a cloud in the sky. And so I was a young man, like I said, 36 years old, back on 9/11/2001. And it was a Tuesday. And so, like every other day, my wife made me two breakfast sandwiches, from scratch. And I wanted to do this video in front of my house with this beautiful Made in the USA American flag. I love the United States of America so much. I'm so thankful for the freedoms that we have, and we're being attacked from within, and we're being attacked from outside. Uh, so I go to work with my two breakfast sandwiches. It's about 8:30 in the morning. I'm eating my breakfast sandwiches. I'm in there a half hour early before any of my salespeople got in. And just before 9 o'clock, my name is page Paul Gilson, call online such and such. I pick up the phone and it's my wife, and she says, "Are you watching TV?" And I said, "No, why?" She said, "The World Trade Center just got hit by a commercial jet airliner." And I was like, "What?" Now, we had been there probably a month before, and that was the only time I was able to see the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers. They were beautiful. I mean, they seemed to go up to heaven. They were over 1,000 foot high. So we had gone down there and come back, and I was like, man. So we had two TVs, one in the showroom of the dealership, and then one in the service department waiting room. And she's like, "You better go watch it." And back then, CNN was like the best news channel you could watch stuff like that on. Go in there, and I see one of the Twin Towers. It's a diagonal gash, wingspan wise, from a huge jet airliner. There's a helicopter flying around. There's people hanging out broken windows, waving little white flags. They were above this, I guess, the 78th floor, where the plane basically almost cut the building in half. These planes, these terrorists planned this. They hopped on jet airliners. First of all, they came to this country. I believe it was in Florida. They took commercial flying lessons to be able to fly these planes. And then they picked direct flights, long distance flights, so they knew the plane would be full of fuel. So he hit the first building, and we were all in there just like in suspense, watching this, one of the towers burn. And somebody was saying, I wonder if it's a terrorist attack. I mean, how could this happen? And other people were like, oh, it's just probably an accident. And then, after being in there for about a half hour, I don't remember what the exact time was, a second plane flies in, full speed, 500-600 miles an hour. Boom, hits the second tower. Now, there's no question, we are under attack by terrorists. So I'm watching everything unfold in disbelief. Then the news focuses on a little later, I don't remember the exact timeline, probably half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour later, they're like, the Pentagon just got hit by a commercial airline, and they showed it coming in, and that killed 184 people. 2,730 people, I believe, died in the World Trade Center, both towers. Plus the passengers on those two flights, plus 343 firefighters. Normally, on the average year, the country loses about 100 firefighters per year through line of duty deaths. We lost 343 in one day. While everyone was running out of those buildings, they were running in with their hotel packs, all kinds of gear. And after this occurred, within a couple weeks, I joined my local fire department. I actually called. I wanted to join the military, and I was 36, and the cutoff was 35. And then I kept calling back, and when I turned 37, they raised the cutoff to 36. It was always one step behind. I wanted to serve my country, so I joined the fire department. I know what that gear weighs. Just your standard gear with an air pack and your entire fire suit, your helmet, mask, and everything is 60 pounds. Now, if you're carrying a hotel pack, which is, 100 foot, 200 foot of hose, extra tools, you can get up to carrying 100, 150 pounds, no problem. Then, a little bit later, I'm not exactly sure about the timeline, there's news that in Pennsylvania, another hijacked airline was apparently heading towards Washington, D.C., and the story is that the passengers took it over and they crashed the plane. The plane crashed, nosedived. They didn't find any body parts, nothing. There was hardly any even wreckage. It just burrowed straight down into the ground. Now, on that last plane, my manager, his son was an aircraft mechanic in the Air Force. And the scuttlebutt is that we shot it down. Our own jet shot it down. The military has never admitted to that, so I don't know. One of two things happened. Either the passengers tried to take over the plane and it nosedived, or our military jet shot the dang thing down. They weren't going to let it hit, our Capitol. They weren't going to let it hit the White House. It was surreal. I remember, and they shut every airport down in the entire country, shut everything down. And I worked at a dealership on Ridge Road. It was a 4-lane highway. usually very, very busy. And it was weird. Everything was silent. There wasn't a car on that 4-lane road in front of my dealership. Not one car. You didn't see one car go up and down. You looked up, we're normally, because we're only maybe 7-8 miles from the airport, Rochester International Airport. Normally you'd see jets, that are taking off and stuff, and streaks across the sky. You didn't see any of that. Everything was quiet. There was no wind, nothing. There was no wind, nothing. It was really, really unbelievable and surreal. So that was my experience for 9/11. And then, of course, all day long, not one customer came in. Everyone was home, glued to their TV. Nobody wanted to step away from it. We didn't sell a car that day, nothing. Nobody wanted to come into the dealership to buy a car. There were customers in the service department in the morning. Then everybody cleared out, and I called, because I was a finance manager, I did deal with some bankers that were in Manhattan. Now you have to understand that where I live, Manhattan, where the Twin Towers were, is only 300 miles away. It's not like it's halfway across the country. It's a 4.5, 5-hour drive. So I'm talking to some of my bankers, asking them if they were okay, and this guy's on the phone crying. One of my bankers, he's like, we're just wondering when we're gonna get hit again. That's fear that terrorism will put into you. So I worked till the normal closing hour, went home. Was glued to the TV. The government and military personnel, they were putting the pieces of everything together. Just a horrible day. It was a horrible day. Just as bad, if not worse, than Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, when the Japanese attacked our military base at Pearl. So they wanted to hit us hard. They wanted to hit the world's epicenter of the world's financial district, and was the Twin Towers in Manhattan, and all of those buildings around. I remember going down there with probably, I don't know, maybe it was 8-9 months, a year later, I don't remember the timeline. We had to go down there for some training. By then they had cleaned everything up, and basically all that was left was 2 big monstrous holes where the Twin Towers basements were. And there were people that were standing in line to view it, and it was very peaceful, very respectful, very, very quiet. No one spoke a word. Nobody in that line. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people viewing the ground zero. Nobody said a word out of respect, and it was quiet. It was very eerie to know that 3,000 people died right at that spot right there, innocent people. So that's my recollection on 9/11. been 24 years. Can't believe it's gone by that fast. Osama bin Laden and a lot of other terrorist organizations were all behind us. I think Al Qaeda was. And George W. Bush at that time was president of the United States, and he vowed to get them. And eventually, President Obama, although I didn't agree with a lot of his stuff, he eventually found where bin Laden was, and they took him out amongst hundreds of other terrorist leaders. Every president since 9/11 had the same goal: take them son of a guns out. You can't rule by terror. They try. They hate us. They hate our way of life. They hate our Christianity. They hate our God. Our God's the only true God. That right there was the sound you heard just before the plane hit. That and boom. I remember watching the first tower collapse. The first tower to collapse, I believe, was actually the second tower to get hit. And when it started to come down, the floors pancaked. Boom, 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 one on top of the other. It took that 1,000-foot building to the ground. Anybody that was in there, basically it was like being in a grinder, like a blender, because it just kept going down. They didn't find bodies. They didn't really even find body parts. Those people were turned to dust. They swabbed some of the first responders that were outside that got caught in the dust clouds when the towers collapsed. They found the DNA of over 100 people in every one of their nostrils. 100 different people. Well, so they tried to attack us exterior, interior-wise, they tried to attack us. And then, our government allows all these people to come in. We have sanctuary cities that President Trump has sent in the National Guard in. They're cleaning them up. They're deporting these people that should not be here. I have absolutely no problem at all with anyone that wants to come to this country, as long as you come to it legally. I have no problem with that at all. Come here legally, don't cross our borders. I talked with some military friends of mine. I believe we ought to set up a perimeter 100 yards wide. On our side of the soil, all you need is caution tape, yellow caution tape. 100 yards beyond, put another 100, put more caution tape. Anybody that comes into the kill zone, man, woman, or child, sounds terrible, you shoot them dead. You're crossing our border illegally. You pop off a few of them, it won't take long. They'll get the idea, they won't come anymore. That sounds terrible, but it would work. There's a heck of a lot of guys in the military that would enjoy the target practice. So that's my recollection. my opinion on a couple of things, whether you like it or not. Oh well. I love my flag back there. I love my country. Paul the Pipe Guy, over, but not out.